7. Stoic Lessons from Seneca. For mastering mental toughness. Let me ask you something. What's the hardest thing you've ever been through? No, really, think about it. That one moment that nearly broke you. Maybe it was a loss, a failure, betrayal, or a time when everything you worked for came crashing down. And in that moment you had a choice. Give up or get back up. But let's be real. Most people don't know how to get back up. They let pain, fear, and self-doubt take over. They fold. They break. They become prisoners of their own minds. And that's why we're here. Because over 2,000 years ago, one man figured it out. One man, Seneca, knew what it meant to be tested, pushed, and beaten down by life. And yet, through betrayal, exile, power, wealth, and even his own death sentence, he remained unshaken. How? Because Seneca mastered something most people never do: mental toughness. And today, you're going to learn 7 of his most powerful lessons that will help you do the same. Lessons that will make you unbreakable. Lessons that will teach you how to endure pain, control fear, and walk through fire without flinching. Because let's be honest, life will test you. There's no avoiding that. The only question is, will you be ready? Let's get into it. Lesson 1. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. Let's be honest. Most of your stress isn't even real. Think about the last time you were anxious, angry, or frustrated. Maybe you were worried about what someone thought of you. Maybe life threw a curveball your way, a breakup, a job loss, or some random piece of bad luck. And what did you do? You obsessed over it. You let it take over your mind, running scenarios, asking, "Why me?" as if worrying would change anything. But here's the truth. Most of your suffering isn't coming from the problem itself. It's coming from your mind's refusal to accept it. Seneca's hardest lesson. Seneca knew this lesson well because he had to live it. Imagine this. You've spent years building your reputation, gaining influence in the Roman Empire. You've worked hard, played the political game, and finally, you're someone important. Then, out of nowhere, bam, you're exiled. That's exactly what happened to Seneca. The Emperor Claudius accused him of a crime he didn't commit, and just like that, he was banished to a remote island. No power, no status, no control. He could have fought back. He could have raged against the injustice of it all. But instead, he did something that most people would never even consider. He accepted it. Instead of drowning in self-pity, he shifted his focus to what he could control: his mind, his habits, his personal growth. He spent his exile studying, writing, and sharpening his philosophy. And guess what? Years later, he returned to Rome stronger than ever. Seneca understood something most people never do. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. How this changes everything. Look, life is going to throw some brutal punches at you. That's a guarantee. People will betray you. Unexpected disasters will happen. You'll lose things, fail at things, and face moments where it feels like the world is against you. But here's the kicker. It's not those events that will break you. It's your reaction to them. You can't control other people's actions. You can't control every outcome. You can't control fate. But you can control your response. That's why Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And he's right. Most of the things we stress over never even happen. And even when they do, it's rarely as bad as we imagine. Your challenge. So here's what I want you to do. Next time life hits you with something unexpected, stop. Ask yourself 2 questions. 1. Is this within my control? 2. If not, why am I wasting my energy fighting it? Instead of resisting reality, adjust your mindset. Instead of panicking, focus on your next move. Because the moment you stop wasting energy on things outside of your control, you take your power back. That's what mental toughness is. That's how you become unshakable. Now let's go even deeper. Lesson 2. Hardship is your training ground. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you were truly tested? I mean really tested. Not just an inconvenience. I'm talking about a moment that pushed you to your absolute limit, mentally, emotionally, or even physically. Now, think about what you did in that moment. Did you resist? Did you complain? Did you break? Or did you grow? Because here's a hard truth most people don't want to hear. Comfort doesn't make you stronger. Pain does. How Seneca turned pain into power. Seneca understood this because he lived it, over and over again. When he was exiled, did he waste years of his life complaining? No. When he was betrayed by powerful people, did he let it break him? No. Instead, he saw hardship for what it really was, training. See, in Seneca's time, warriors and gladiators trained by enduring suffering on purpose. They didn't wait for battle to come to them. They prepared. They hardened their bodies and minds before the fight ever started. And that's exactly how Seneca treated his life. Every setback, training, every hardship. Preparation, every loss, a lesson. Because he knew something most people don't. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your training. If you haven't trained yourself to handle adversity, you're going to crumble the second life gets hard. That's why Seneca warned against being too comfortable. He said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." In other words, tough times don't break you, they build you. What this means for you. So let's be real. You're going to struggle in life. You're going to have moments where you feel lost, defeated, and completely out of control. But here's the thing. That pain you're feeling, that challenge in front of you, that's not just some random obstacle. That is your training ground. Every struggle is a chance to become stronger. Every failure is a lesson in resilience. Every painful moment is preparing you for something greater. The question is, will you use it? Your challenge. Here's what I want you to do. 1. Stop avoiding discomfort. Instead, embrace it. When things get tough, remind yourself, this is training. Reframe every challenge as an opportunity. The next time something difficult happens, don't say, "Why me?" Say, "What can I learn from this?" 3. Push yourself beyond your limits. Do hard things on purpose. Take cold showers, fast for a day. Push your mind and body further than they want to go. Because the truth is, you don't get stronger when things are easy. You get stronger when you are tested. So the next time life gets hard, don't run from it. Step into it. Because that's how you build mental toughness. Now, are you ready for the next lesson? Because this one might just change the way you see life forever. Lesson 3. Death is the ultimate motivator. Let me hit you with a reality check. You are going to die. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But one day, your time will run out. And if that thought makes you uncomfortable, good. Because most people spend their entire lives running from this truth. They act like they have unlimited time, procrastinating, avoiding risks, postponing their dreams, thinking they'll always have someday. But here's the thing. You don't have someday. You have now. And that's exactly why Seneca embraced memento mori, the practice of remembering death. Seneca's view on death, not a tragedy, but a wake-up call. Seneca wasn't afraid of death. He wasn't obsessed with avoiding it, and he definitely wasn't wasting time pretending it wouldn't happen. Instead, he used it. He once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Think about that. Most people complain that life is too short, but the real problem isn't time. It's how much of it we waste. We waste time on people who don't care about us. We waste time worrying about the opinions of strangers. We waste time scrolling, overthinking, and living passively instead of truly living. And then one day we wake up and realize it's too late. The story that changes everything. Imagine this. You go to the doctor for a routine checkup, and they tell you, you have exactly 1 year to live. What do? You wake up. You start living with urgency. You say the things you were too afraid to say. You chase the dreams you've been putting off. You stop caring about things that don't matter. Now here's the real question. Why aren't you already living that way? Seneca believed that if you truly accept your mortality, you stop wasting life. Instead of fearing death, you use it as fuel. Because once you understand that your time is borrowed, you stop waiting. How this changes everything. The moment you accept death, you become fearless. You stop procrastinating on the things that matter. You stop caring about what people think. You stop wasting your days on things that don't bring you closer to your purpose. Instead, you start living intentionally. You pursue your goals now. You tell the people you love now. You take risks, you move forward, you make your days count. Because one day, sooner than you think, you won't have another chance. Your challenge. Try this. Live today as if it were your last. 1. Make the decisions you've been avoiding. 2. Tell the people in your life what they mean to you. To ask yourself, if I died tomorrow, would I be proud of how I live today? If the answer is no, fix it. Now. Because you don't control how much time you have, but you do control how you use it. And that's what mental toughness is. It's living without regret. Now let's talk about something just as dangerous as death, the illusion of success. Lesson 4. Wealth, fame are empty pursuits. Let's be real. We all want more. More money. More status. More success. Society tells us that if we get those things, we'll finally be happy. But what if that's a lie? What if you spend your whole life chasing wealth, fame, and approval, only to realize it was never what you really wanted? Because that's exactly what happened to Seneca. The irony of Seneca's life. Here's the crazy part. Seneca wasn't just a philosopher. He was one of the wealthiest men in Rome. He had power, status, luxury. And yet, he warned against all of it. He said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor." Why? Because no matter how much you have, if you always want more, you will never feel like you have enough. Think about it. You make your first $1,000,000. Now you want 10. You get famous. Now you want to be even bigger. You hit a goal. Now you feel empty, so you set another one. And the cycle never stops. Modern proof. The rich miserable. Look at the world today. How many billionaires and celebrities have everything, yet they're depressed? How many people have reached the top, only to feel lost and empty? That's because happiness doesn't come from success. It comes from inner peace. And if your happiness depends on things outside of you, you will never be free. Seneca's secret. Detach from the illusion. Seneca had wealth, but he didn't let it own him. He practiced something radical, voluntary discomfort. He wore simple clothes even though he could afford the finest. He ate basic meals instead of feasts fit for a king. He reminded himself, if I lost everything tomorrow, I would still be fine. Because the moment you stop depending on external things for happiness, You become untouchable. You stop chasing money just for the sake of it. You stop needing validation. You stop thinking success will magically make you happy. Instead, you focus on what actually matters: character, peace of mind, and the ability to control your desires. How this changes everything. Ask yourself, 1. Am I chasing things that truly fulfill me, or am I just following what society tells me to chase? 2. Would I still be happy if I lost everything material? 3. Am I letting external success define my self-worth? Because here's the truth. True wealth is not money. It's freedom. True success is not fame. It's peace of mind. True power is not control over others. It's control over yourself. Your challenge. Try this. Detach from things you think you need. 1. Spend a day without your phone, social media, or unnecessary luxuries. 2. Remind yourself, you don't need status or approval to be valuable. 3. Focus on what actually matters: self-mastery, discipline, and inner peace. Because if you can be happy with nothing, you will be unstoppable with everything. Now let's take this even deeper, because true strength doesn't come from what you own. It comes from your mind. Lesson 5. Your mind is your strongest fortress. Let's get real. Life is chaos. Things will go wrong. People will betray you. Unexpected disasters will hit you out of nowhere. And when that happens, you'll have 2 choices. 1. Let the world break you. 2. Become unshakable. And that's exactly what Seneca believed. Your mind is your strongest fortress. If you build it right, nothing, not failure, not rejection, not even death, can break you. But if you leave it weak, the smallest storm will destroy you. So the question is your mind a fortress, or is it a prison? Seneca's ultimate test. Seneca had power, wealth, and influence. But all of that meant nothing when he found himself in the worst possible position, ordered to die by his own student, Emperor Nero. Now most people would panic. They'd beg, plead, or break down. But Seneca? He did something that shocked everyone. He accepted it. He didn't resist. He didn't curse his fate. Instead, he faced his death calmly, as if it were just another moment in life. Because he understood one thing: the world can take everything from you, except your mind. How to build a mental fortress. So how do you reach that level of unshakable control? How do you make your mind stronger than anything life throws at you? Here's how Seneca did it. 1. Train your mind. Every day, Seneca believed that just like your body, your mind needs training. Journaling. Every day he reflected on his thoughts, his mistakes, and his emotions. Meditation. He practiced stillness, learning to observe his mind instead of being controlled by it. Mental rehearsal. He imagined worst-case scenarios, not to scare himself, but to prepare himself. Because the more you train your mind to handle discomfort, uncertainty, and fear, the less power they have over you. 2. Master your emotions. Seneca wasn't cold or emotionless. He just refused to let emotions control him. He taught that anger, fear, and sadness are natural, but they shouldn't dictate your actions. Instead, he focused on logic, patience, and self-control. Next time you feel overwhelmed, pause. Instead of reacting impulsively, ask yourself, is this emotion helping me or hurting me? What would my strongest self do right now? That 1 second of control. It changes everything. 3. Detach from external chaos. Look, the world will always be chaotic. People will gossip. Social media will feed you negativity. Life will hit you with setbacks. But here's what you need to understand. External chaos is only dangerous if you let it inside your mind. Seneca's mindset: you can insult me, but I won't take it personally. You can take away my money, but I won't feel poor. You can throw problems at me, but I will remain calm. Because true power isn't controlling the world. It's controlling yourself. Your challenge for the next 7 days: I want you to train your mind like a warrior. One every morning, write down one thing that could go wrong today. Then ask yourself, if it happens, how will I handle it? Prepare your mind. 2. Practice emotional control. The next time you feel frustrated or angry, pause. Don't react. Observe. 3. Block out distractions. For 24 hours, avoid social media, news, and negativity. Focus only on what you control. Because the more you control your mind, the less the world can control you. And when your mind is unshakable, you become unstoppable. Now, let's talk about the hardest lesson Seneca ever taught: choosing discomfort on purpose. Lesson 6. Practice voluntary discomfort. Let me ask you this. What would happen if everything was taken from you tomorrow? Your money, your comfort, your security. Would you fall apart? Or would you stand strong, knowing you can handle anything? Because here's a secret. You are only as strong as what you can survive. And that's why Seneca practiced something most people would never dare to: voluntary discomfort. Why Seneca lived like he had nothing. Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in Rome. He could have lived in luxury every day. But instead, he wore simple clothes instead of expensive robes. He ate basic meals, bread, water, nothing extravagant. He slept on the floor, even though he had the finest beds. Why? Because he wanted to train his mind to be strong without comfort. He asked himself, is this what I feared? And every time he realized, happiness isn't in luxury, it's in resilience. Why you should make yourself uncomfortable. Look, we live in a world of comfort. Food is everywhere. Entertainment is endless. We avoid anything that makes us uncomfortable. But here's the problem. Comfort makes you weak. If you've never been hungry, how will you handle struggle? If you've never been alone, how will you handle loss? If you've never faced discomfort, how will you handle real adversity? That's why the strongest people aren't the ones who have had perfect lives. They're the ones who have been through hell and kept going. And Seneca knew that. How to train yourself for anything. Here's how you can start building mental toughness right now. On live, simply for a day. Seneca would often spend days living as if he were poor, not because he had to, but because he wanted to prove to himself that he could survive without luxury. Try this. Eat the simplest meal you can. Wear the cheapest clothes you own. Avoid all unnecessary comforts for a day. Then ask yourself, is this what I feared? Because once you prove that you can handle less, you stop fearing loss. 2. Do one hard thing. Every day. Take cold showers. Walk instead of driving. Go a full day without your phone. Do something that challenges you. The more you intentionally face discomfort, the less control it has over you. Embrace hardship, instead of avoiding it. Most people avoid pain. But what if you trained yourself to see it as a gift? Failure. Training, discomfort, preparation. Hard times. The forge that builds you. Because Seneca believed something powerful. If you can be happy with nothing, you will be unstoppable with everything. Your challenge. For the next week, I want you to choose one voluntary discomfort every day. 1. Go a full day, eating only simple foods. 2. Take a cold shower. 3. Sleep on the floor. 4. Do something difficult and embrace the struggle. Because the moment you stop relying on comfort, you become unbreakable. And that's what mental toughness is. Now, are you ready for the final lesson? Because this one will change everything. Lesson 7. Live each day as if borrowed time. Let's get one thing straight. You are running out of time. Not in some vague, philosophical way. Literally. Right now. As you listen to this, seconds of your life are disappearing. Seconds you will never get back. And yet, most people live like they have forever. They procrastinate on their dreams. They hold grudges instead of forgiving. They wait for the perfect time to start living. But Seneca, he saw through this illusion. He knew that the biggest tragedy in life isn't death. It's wasting the time you do have. Seneca's warning: stop acting like you have forever. Seneca wrote one of the most brutal truths ever spoken. You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. Think about that. We fear death, loss, and pain because we know life is short. But when it comes to pursuing our dreams, telling people we love them, or actually living fully, we act like we have unlimited time. But you don't. And that's why Seneca believed in living every single day as if it were borrowed time. Because it is. The 1 year to live test. Let's play a game. Imagine right now, you get a call from your doctor. They tell you, you have exactly 1 year left to live. How would you spend that year? Would you still waste time on things that don't matter? Would you still hold on to petty grudges? Would you still delay the things you really want to do? No. You would wake up. You would cut the nonsense. You would be fearless. You would stop waiting for permission and start living. But here's the thing. You don't need a death sentence to start. Because in reality, you don't even know if you have a year. How to start living right now. Seneca believed that the key to living a great life is simple. Live as if today is your last. Plan as if you have forever. Here's how you do it. 1. Stop wasting time on what doesn't matter. Seneca called time our most valuable resource, because once it's gone, you never get it back. So ask yourself, is this argument really worth my time? Is scrolling on my phone for hours making my life better? If today were my last day, is this how I would want to spend it? If the answer is no, stop wasting time on it. 2. Do the things you keep putting off. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The dream you've been meaning to start. The conversation you've been avoiding. The risks you've been too scared to take. Seneca's challenge. Do them now, because if you keep waiting for the right time to live, you'll die waiting. 3. Tell people what they mean to you. Now, if you died tomorrow, who would you regret not saying something to? Your parents? Your best friend? Someone you lost touch with? Seneca believed that pride, ego, and hesitation are the biggest thieves of happiness. So don't wait until it's too late. Say what needs to be said. Apologize. Express gratitude. Tell people you love them before it's too late. 4. Make every day a masterpiece. Seneca didn't believe in just existing. He believed in truly living. That means every single day ask yourself, did I live fully today? Did I make progress on what matters? Did I leave no room for regret? Because if the answer is yes, then no matter when your time comes, you'll be ready. Your challenge for the next 24 hours. Live as if this was your last day on earth. 1. Do one thing you've been putting off. 2. Tell someone what they truly mean to you. 3. Cut out distractions and focus on what actually matters. 4. Go to bed knowing you left nothing unsaid or undone. Because if you can live each day with intention, urgency, and gratitude, you will never fear death. You will never waste time. And you will never, ever live with regret. That's what true mental toughness is. That's what Seneca mastered, and now, it's your turn. Conclusion, the final test of mental toughness. Let me ask you something. If your life ended today, would you be proud of how you lived? Not in some distant future, not in some imaginary someday. Today, right now. Because here's the truth, you don't get a second chance at this. The time you've spent worrying, gone. The moments you've wasted on things that don't matter, you'll never get them back. The chances you didn't take, they don't wait for you. But right now you have a choice. A choice to stop living passively and start living intentionally. A choice to stop fearing hardship and start using it to grow stronger. A choice to stop waiting for life to happen and start shaping it yourself. Because that's what mental toughness really is. It's not about being fearless. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being in control. Control of your mind. Control of your reactions. Control of how you live, no matter what life throws at you. And if you've made it this far, if you've really listened to these lessons, then you already have everything you need to become unbreakable. The 7 lessons. Recap lesson. 1. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. Most suffering comes from fighting reality. Take your power back by focusing only on what's in your control. Lesson 2. Hardship is your training ground. Stop seeing struggle as an obstacle. It's the weight that builds your strength. Lesson 3. Death is the ultimate motivator. You don't have forever. Stop waiting. Start living. Lesson 4. Wealth, fame are empty pursuits. If your happiness depends on external success, you will never be free. True wealth is inner peace. Lesson 5. Your mind is your strongest fortress. If you can master your mind, nothing, not failure, not rejection, not even death, can break you. Lesson 6. Practice voluntary discomfort. Comfort makes you weak. Strengthen yourself by choosing discomfort before life forces it on you. Lesson 7. Live each day as if borrowed time. Stop acting like you have forever. If today were your last, would you be proud of how you lived? The final challenge. Apply it now. I'm going to ask you to do something. Pick just one of these lessons and apply it today. Stop complaining about something outside of your control. Face a challenge and see it as training instead of a setback. Do something uncomfortable to make yourself stronger. Cut out distractions and focus only on what actually matters. Tell someone what they mean to you before it's too late, because knowledge without action is worthless. Seneca didn't just write philosophy, he lived it. Now, the question is, will you? If you're ready to take action, comment below. I refuse to waste my life. Because today, right now, your new life starts. Now go. Live like it matters.